Okay, we're setting up for YouTube Live. Jennifer will join us soon and I'll let her in. Okay. Live. I just have put in the
Deepa,
call.
can you be put your
Yes.
All right. So I think we are live as well and we have participants waiting. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. So, as always, I would like to welcome you all to this amazing series of Fashion for the Earth that we are doing with Kashish Global. So, it's a collaboration of the Network India and Kashish Global is doing with all the amazing initiatives. Other than this webinar that we have, Kashish has been doing amazing lives and podcasts and webinars that you can check out. You can go onto our YouTube, check out the previous ones. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So without any further ado, I think I would really introduce amazing panels that we have today. First, we have Miss Habiba Abdul Rahman. Habiba is a verified
Hi.
climate champion, sustainable fashion climate justice activist, and also a content creator known for her amazing platform. She's based in UAE, originally from Kenya, and she's also the founder of Trash in Kenya. Amazing. I mean, when I first heard about the name is also amazing. She also
Thank
served
you.
as the PR, thank you, PR and communications manager at Fashion Revolution UAE, and recently earned the title of Miss Earth UAE Water and CSR Ambassador. Welcome, Miss Habiba. Then we have
Thank
Aisha
you.
Siddiqa with us. Aisha is a passionate, woman about educating and helping everyone from professional designers to socially conscious consumers as well. So it's a chain that she's trying to address towards making more ethical and sustainable decisions. Over the course of her career, Aisha has worked as an interior designer, environmental consultant, and CSR manager, giving her a deep understanding of how businesses can choose more sustainable options. Aisha is also a member of the International Executive Board at the Global Sustainable Fashion Week, an event organized by the National Fashion League Association Hungary. Welcome, Aisha, in this
Thank
amazing
you. Thank you for having me.
webinar that we have. We will be joined by another panelist very soon, Jennifer. I'll introduce her then. And then we have our special, as always, our moderator for the panel, Kashish Bhatia Garg, who is the founder of Kashish Global, who is bringing so many amazing things to the sustainable fashion vertical. And it's not just clothes, believe me, it's everything. So, for the past two webinars, we have talked about indigenous designs, indigenous people rights, communities. We talked about the trends, the technicalities that are coming to the sustainable fashion. You can check out those. Again, I'm mentioning on YouTube, and we're also available for question and answer. And I think now over to you, Kashish, to delve down deep into this discussion and have amazing people. And just to let you know, we already received so many very good questions from people in the registration form. So we'll have some time in the end to address those as well. Over to you.
Thanks, Rumi.
Thank you, Romit, and thank you so much, Day Network, for truly supporting this. And I think it's the power of collaboration which brings in the change. And thank you so much, both the ladies, and I think three ladies, because we are still waiting for one of our panelists to join. I'm so excited about today's topic, which is about repurposing, because that is something which is going to redefine the change in the sustainable industry. I truly believe that in the field of sustainability, it's about making small changes and bringing and creating the future which has more impact, not only on our life, but on the earth as well. And we are joined by Jennifer. So, right on time.
Oh, she's just, yeah, I think she made it.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Finally, you made it. But we're still not. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear her.
Sorry about that.
no problem. So maybe I can just quickly introduce Jennifer as well to all our participants who are watching us in the Zoom and also live. So everybody, uh, amazing portfolio, I would say. Jen has obtained a master's degree in non-profit leadership and philanthropy and has worked in Nepal, India, Tanzania, Philippines. And she has always been into thrift shopping, environmental sustainability, and raising funds for children around the world. Her passion for charity work began in 2003 during high school when she raised funds to build and sustain daycare and educational projects in collaboration with IAT Philippines. Through all these amazing roles that she has been into, the understanding led to the creation of Thrift for Good, the UAE's first wide scale charity thrift shop, bringing together her love for thrifting, environmental sustainability, and philanthropy. So, welcome, Jennifer, to this amazing webinar. And we were just getting into the questions, and over to you, Kashish, again.
Thank you. So finally, we have all the three panelists with us. And today's panelist is much of a global perspective. This is our third, but not the last panel discussion, but the last amongst this series. So I'm so grateful and welcoming you all once again. And as leaders in sustainability, innovation, and global collaboration, we believe that the choice we make today redefine the future. And at Kashish Global and the initiative by Kashish Global Conscious Collective, it's not only about creating products, it's about creating purpose, driving change, and leaving a positive impact on the planet. And today, all the experts and the change makers from across the globe each are going to bring in the perspective on how repurpose can reshape industry, empower communities, and reduce environment impact. This is more than just a discussion for us. It's a platform for exploration, learning, and collaboration. And we would really like to invite you all to engage, ask questions, and be part of this movement to create a sustainable tomorrow. So with that, let's get started and reimagine the possibilities of repurposing together. So I will go with the alphabetic order. So my first question is with Aisha, because Aisha has worked with different industry from interior designing to CSR and has worked with multidisciplinary experience. What has that shaped your approach to the sustainable fashion?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining and thank you for having me, Kashish. And thank you, Romit, for the introduction. I'm really happy to be here to provide my insight or my experience on this topic. A topic that is not very well taken yet in the Middle East, from the Arab world and the perception of repurposing. For your question, yes, I did wear many hats. I came from interior designing, went into administration and project management, and then CSR, which actually everything led one to the other. And then the CSR happened, and then I moved to Dubai to work on CSR and sustainability, and that's how Ethical Elements was formed. Actually, I had another project before that, and then I met my partners in Dubai, and we started Ethical Elements. And through this journey, I think if I go step by step from interior designing, putting aesthetics and functionality, I learned about that. I learned about CSR on how a business should be responsible, the importance of business practices. That's where ethical practice, labor practices came into view. In my view, supply chain transparency and supply chain, long-term sustainability goals. CSR got me thinking about all of this. Then I went into, fashion was something that I was personally interested in, and I had created a platform before long ago. That was in 2005, I think. My first project was trying to have a platform for sustainable fashion brands from all around the world for the Middle East customers. During all those years, and during my experience and talking to people and customers in the Middle East, what we realized was the main source of creating the sustainable fashion, the basic was the fabrics. The basic root of creating the whole design and the actual product And that's when my partner Sana, Sonam, and I were like, okay, we should start from the basic roots. So why not provide the actual core item that creates the whole sustainable supply chain, the fabric, and give the customers sustainable fabrics, ethically produced, circular economy, checking the transparency in the supply chain, meeting with so we did a whole lot of, during my process of creating ethical elements, there was a whole lot of work done in the background. Still a lot of work going on because suppliers keep changing, and rules and country rules and policies keep changing. So we keep working on this. So we make sure that all the products we supply and are vetted by us. We go to the factories. Recently, my partner was down here, and we had visits to factories to see how they actually produce the products and how the laborers are and what the rules and regulations are and all of that. So we did our vetting, and now we have a list of examples of these suppliers. So we're trying our best to go everywhere we can when we reach our suppliers, or even have Zoom calls with them and do factory tours. So we're trying our best from our side to be as transparent as possible. A lot of hurdles, a lot of things that people don't want us to know, a lot of things that people are trying to hide. So learned a lot in my 15 years of work experience in all these stages. So yeah, in the end, it's creative innovation and ethical business practices. I think that's what I put together from all my experiences, and ethical elements is there now for everyone to see. It's in Dubai. People, please do visit, and we've just launched our new website. So go have a look, and if there's any questions on the products, please do let me know.
Thank you so much, Aisha, because it's so interesting that how we say that everything connects dot and how it contributes. So even if we think that, oh, I'm doing CSR or I am doing into this, but it really impacts on your, what you're choosing to do now. So with that transition of wearing so many hats, I think it has been like an incredible journey, which has supported you and brought you here with ethical elements, because I have also closely worked with ethical elements, and truly, truly, it's such an admiration to look at the amount of the work goes behind just the fabric. We may think that it's just the resourcing of the fabric.
Yeah.
But as your brand truly talks about ethical elements in today's sustainable world where greenwashing is such a common thing, and in that, sustaining and doing what you truly believe and working towards it is such a great perspective and such a great journey to look into it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I am so excited because in today's panel, one is about the fabric resourcing, which is about communicating how it works, and one is about the end product, where Gentox has a brand about thrift for good.
Yes.
And I recently went to the store as well for my upcoming trip to Thrift for Good as my go-to place. And I'm like, okay, I have to go, because looking something from outside and venturing into it, and you have done an incredible job, Jen. So I would really like to welcome you. And I would really like to ask you that in this world of sustainability, and when we talk about repurpose, and you are bridging the gap, which is with Thrift for Good, can you explain how this initiative is bridging the gap between the thrift shopping and creating positive impact on the planet?
Absolutely. So first, I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if anything. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. So Thrift for Good has been built by such a wonderful community of people. Habiba has been part of it as well. She helped us in our early days to grow the brand. So it's with thanks to so many people. So getting into your question, I think thrifting, it's so important because clothing production obviously is very environmentally strenuous. It takes a lot of resources. It abuses a lot of people in the process. And as the world moves to supporting fast fashion more and more and more, the chemicals that are used are so toxic. The carbon emissions and all the transport, the massive amount of production and the massive amount of waste, I think thrifting is integral in every single system environment for clothing. Because if we thrift clothing, if we buy pre-loved, we keep the clothing in the cycle that much longer. It survives that much longer. It doesn't go to the landfill. And I've learned through the journey, there's really no reason to ever throw a piece of fabric. If it's no longer a suitable shirt, it can be upcycled, it can be remade, it can be recycled into carpet and furniture, which is part of our process as well. So I'm so glad that we can offer a solution locally here in Dubai to rehome textiles and to save them from the landfill. So that's the first side of our mission, is the sustainability, the sustainable impact in keeping clothes out of the landfill. And of course, the second part, we're so proud we donate 100% of our profit to support children's charity projects around the world. So we work in partnership with Gulf for Good, and we fund one children's charity project at a time. I'm excited because we just reached our biggest goal yet, 734,000 for the Ray Foundation in Ethiopia. It's incredible. We're building classrooms so they can support more kids. They can have, I cried the other day because it's absolutely phenomenal that we got to this level. And the difference, we've already sent the first installment of funding. The difference it's making to them is massive. And for kids around the world, it really doesn't take much to make a change. 1,500 dirhams, that's enough to support an orphan for an entire year in Tanzania. Their clothing, food, people love them, everything. 1,500 dirhams. And I'm glad that every day in our stores, we're able to do that through the sale of what's essentially 10 to 30 dirham clothing. So, yeah, environment and helping kids, that's our impact.
Wow. In today's world, when we are talking about fashion is not making that great impact, and here you are using the same fashion and contributing back in such a different way, which is just by the clothes, which we dare not would like to repeat it or would not like to put on the social media. Here, anybody in Dubai can come, donate the clothes, and from that, we are not only increase the lifespan of the clothes, but even making such a great impact. So truly, it's such a incredible work, and congratulations. And truly, I have goosebumps to look, because here, even my entire thing and vision is how fashion, like what future we desire with fashion, and what impact are we leaving, and what impact we would like to leave on the planet. So thank you, Jen, for doing this, and all support to you. My third question is for Habiba. Thank you, Habiba, welcoming you once again. And you are from Kenya, and you are advocating sustainability in Middle East. And we all know that Dubai is all known for glamour, glitz, and big brand. What, according to you, is the impact in Middle East of sustainability, and what is driving that?
Thank you so much, Kashish, for having me here. It's a pleasure. First of all, I'd like to say that my journey started through content creation and the love for art and fashion. And through that, in Kenya, I didn't realize about the effects of plastic and textile waste until I got into community work. And through that, I got to learn about sustainability, and I got passionate about it, and it grew. And that's how I started my organization, Trash on Kenya. And when I moved to Dubai, I was searching for organizations with like-minded individuals, and that's how I started working with Thrift for Good, because I knew that was a great way to also make a difference and to join hands. And at the same time, I learned about Fashion Revolution UAE, and that's how we came together. I joined hands with Fashion Revolution UAE to see how we can make a bigger difference and we can create a bigger awareness. So in the Middle East, I came to realize that, because we have a lot of the fashion in in Middle East that we see majorly in malls. So the tourism industry, how also it advertises the UAE, it's very important because when tourists come here, they would go to malls. That's the first place they would go to shop. And we know that malls, it's a lot of fast fashion as well. So for us, through Fashion Revolution, what we're trying to do is we're trying to revolutionize on how people look at fashion and shopping. So through that, as you can see, we've had different events every year, and we try to create more awareness about sustainability and sustainable fashion. The first thing that we usually advocate for is, of course, the policies in sustainability when it comes to sustainable fashion and how we can change the policies. So through that, we partner with the main Fashion Revolution team in the UK, and globally, we ensure that we are in line with the vision and the mission and the goals and campaigns each year. And the second way that we actually ensure that the campaigns are they're well impacted or impactful rather, is by engaging young people. So young people, they're our future, and we realize that young people are the ones who are online, on social media, in schools. So we partner with design schools, universities that are offering sustainable fashion, or fashion schools that are not offering sustainable fashion, but we integrate sustainable fashion collaboration. And that's how we start the catwalk fashion shows, which is impactful, and through our social media platform, because the Middle East is big on fashion, and we looked at it from that angle, that fashion is a great way to attract people, to include different talents, which are photographers, models, collaborations with sustainable brands, and different aspects of talents and industries. Also, Aisha Ethical Elements is also part of it. Thrift for Good is also part of it. Kashish, you've been part of it. So this is how we try to create more awareness and impact. So fashion is one of the way, through catwalk, and also offering them prizes. For example, the first 3 winners, they get mentorship, they get internship positions, they get prizes, different prizes, and different rewards. So that's a way that we can create that community by showcasing that and showing people that this other side of fashion, you can still practice fashion sustainably. At the same time, you can still be a model, you can still be a photographer, you can still be a videographer, a fashion designer, and you can still have fun and make fashion attractive, and also it can be something that you can still post on social media. So through that, we actually engage the young students to be more creative by upcycling and showing the upcycle designs, and through this showcases on our social media platform as well. It shows people that this is the other side of fashion. This is how upcycled and repurposing fashion is, as well as thrifted fashion, as Jen has suggested. So I would say majorly is through collaborations. We were big on collaborations, hosting vendors through the events, panel talks like how we are hosting now, just for people to be able to have access to the designers, to the experts, and to also understand through these talks. So if Kashish is talking about her brand, you can inspire young people and also new people who are coming in the industry on what sustainability is and how you can still make luxury fashion sustainable. And that's also something that is very trendy in the UAE, in the Middle East. Through repurposing fashion in a luxury way, we can show people that you can still wear luxury sustainably, and it can still be economically viable, because at the same time, when you look at what drives tourism, and the Middle East is also the financial aspect. And through that, we also show people that sustainability can still be financially viable, and luxury as well. We can still wear luxury, and you can redefine it sustainably. So through these partnerships and through local empowering the local community, local brands, that's how Fashion Revolution in the Middle East and the Middle East at large can inspire sustainability globally, and also we can drive change, including the young people and the young designers, upcoming designers in schools, and the talent industry. There's a lot of upcoming designers, models, photographers, videographers, and content creators like me, who instead of showcasing or sharing about Shein hauls, we can now share about Kashesh Global. When you go to Dubai Fashion Week, we can still showcase your designs like Kashesh Global, or we can partner with ethical elements to show that you can actually custom make your designs through sustainable fabrics instead of finding other fabrics that are not sustainable. This is a way to show also accessibility is there. So I think that through Fashion Revolution, we are progressing in creating that awareness, accessibility, community, and also education. And I feel like we are progressing, and the more we partner and we collaborate together, the more this wheel is going to keep rolling. And hopefully through different partnerships and also investment, hopefully we can get to access investors. That's the part that Fashion Revolution is not involved in. But on a bigger scale, I also look at it from the perspective of startups having accessibility to with investors. So big companies, corporates can start investing in startups that are geared towards sustainability in sustainable fashion, in repurposing, and find ways on how to bridge the gap towards a circular economy. Thank you.
Thank you. It's such a, I think as Dubai already has like a strong mark on luxury brands and the place to visit, I surely wish, and I think with every collaboration and every step we are taking towards sustainability, one day we will have the map of sustainability flying high in UAE as well. And it's like little steps we all are taking to bring that change, where we all are not looking only fashion as a trend or a necessity to wear, but bringing in the change. And everybody is coming up and taking its initiative and bringing that change is such a great moment. So thank you, everybody. Today's topic is on repurpose. And at Kashish Global, we do 100% of recycling of our entire fabric, which was maybe not supposed to be used, or maybe just was supposed to go to some vendor at a very reasonable, at a 10% price and all. And we all here have a vision to how to support the dyeing craft. And our entire fabric was being upcycled and recycled on heirlooms. So these are 3-dimensional legacy pieces, which rather than confining to the wall, we can wear it, embrace it, and pass it on as a legacy. What, according to, and I would start with Jen, what, according to you, in today's time, repurposing is an important pillar for sustainability, and what does that mean to you?
So I'm so sorry, I didn't hear the question. Was it about repurposing?
Yeah, like our entire today's topic is about repurpose. So what does repurposing mean to you, and how it is impacting in today in the specifically sustainable fashion industry?
Absolutely. So I just have to say, I love that we have participants who represent ethical production. And I think looking in the circular economy, that's such an important facet, is to start with ethical, sustainably produced, and then thrifting, rehoming, all of this. And the repurpose I see is what's closing the link. It's closing the gap between making something old into something new again. And it's absolutely amazing when you look at an old t-shirt, let's say. It's never done. It's never finished. Even if it has a stain, if it has some damage, if it has something, it can always be repurposed into something else. Cut up into rags, or the cotton, the fibers, the things can always be created into something new. So for me, it's the end of the cycle, and it's the importance of like taking responsibility for our possessions, that we can never throw something away. There is a way, there's a landfill that's very real and very there. So instead, finding creative solutions for how we turn the items that we have into something else or into new fashion. So yes, for me, and I think it's just such an important thing in the future of sustainable fashion as a 3-tiered system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like recently, I don't know how many of you have watched this new documentary series on Netflix, which is about Buy Now, which was such, like, obviously being in the industry, you know it, but the data given in that is that every month there is 150,000 tons of fabric which goes to Ghana, whereas the population itself is 30 million. And that figure itself, like, when we talk about we give away, it's just that we cannot see in our house. But how much that is actually making an impact somewhere in the world. Again, like if you look at logistically or even in infrastructure way, Ghana is not really still developed, which can take so much of like landfills. And it's such an alarming thing. And somebody here who's listening to this now or later, please go and watch. And it would just change the perspective on what we are buying and how we are buying and what is required to change. Habiba, what is repurposing mean to you in terms of sustainable fashion?
Thank you. So for me, repurposing means, creating, adding value to a product that is old instead of throwing it. And I think that is so beautiful. So that's how Trashon came about, because my journey was very organic, I would say, and exciting at the same time. So through events, I learned about the recycling industry and upcycling, and that was in Kenya. And I didn't even know how I didn't know a specific bag, what it was made of, until I asked, because it was very beautiful and unique. And a lot of tourists come and buy, and it was kind of like a tourist thing. So people gave me this name as a local tourist, because I would go for things that normal, like people who, how you take it for granted when you're living in your hometown and you end up not exploring. So for me, since through content creation, I was exploring, and I saw these bags, they were beautiful. I was like, what are they made of? And the lady told me it's made of cassette, from the cassette film, and it's upcycled, and it looks shiny and bright and beautiful. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. But how comes, no one talks about this? Like, I find this very amazing. And she would say, that the lady would say, I picked these cassette tapes because I don't have, from her, it was from a point of need, from a point of, not having the resources. So she would say, I would pick up and I would just, because I don't have money to buy expensive, thread or expensive material, I would use this and I would still buy. And tourists actually like it. The Italian tourists who come here, they buy it. So I have a lot of market. And in a way, she was actually cleaning up the environment without even realizing, because she was actually a big part of the community without realizing it. But for her, it was from a point of need, as opposed to us who do it from a point of, purpose, educating, and privilege. So through that's how I came to learn about upcycling. And through attending different events, I started seeing how beautiful, products are being made from waste, and some from discarded clothes that could end up in landfills. So that's how I look at it so beautifully. And not only that, also art. art can be also made in can be made from upcycled waste, and through art also, which is beautiful and captivating. It's amazing how artists also can make such beautiful art from waste. So from that angle, I look at it as how we as a community should look at waste from our resource as opposed to something that we discard. And this can actually help to prevent waste to be sent to landfill. Because what happens also is when such waste is sent to landfill, as much as we promote recycling, I've met a lot of corporates, big corporates as well, that are working towards that are investing in recycling in big mass recycling. I'm talking about mass recycling, like GeoCycle, construction. You can name it all. They talk about, when I mentioned the question of landfill and dump sites, because I reach out to them with the challenge from my country as well, and find collaborations. And I ask them, so for example, how can you help to solve the problem of landfills? For example, can you recycle this waste? And the answer is no, we cannot, because it has to be segregated. So already people think that recycling is so easy to talk about. You have to recycle, upcycle. But when the damage is already done, like in Ghana, it's hard for even people to solve, because this waste somehow does not even become a resource. So, and that's how we have to educate people that it's not as easy as just recycling, because as much as we have the dump sites and the landfills, it's hard to recycle once it's in the landfill and it's not segregated. So there should be like proper ways for waste management. And that's why there's waste management and upcycling. And that's why as individuals, it's important to ensure that our products, what we wear and everything around us does not end up in landfill, and we can be able to either repurpose it, upcycle, or we can send it to a secondhand store like Thrift for Good that can collect your clothes and reform it and find a pre-loved owner. So I think this is very important for people to understand why we should repurpose and why we should not waste, because once it's sent to landfill, it's very hard to save it, to save it. Yes.
Thank you for that. Like, as I was joining for the webinar, in one of the group, the quote came which was with the question, waste is where you don't actually use something to create. What if everything you had was a way to creating more? So we have so much more. And I was like, look at the timing of it. It was like while we were managing the back end of it. And it was not even any sustainable group, but it was, and I was like, it is such a great message that we are talking about repurposing. And what is waste? Till the time we don't consider it as a waste, you can create from everything. So thank you for bringing that perspective. Aisha, what, according to you, is repurposing in sustainable industry, specifically fashion?
Jennifer and Habiba has already covered everything. They talked about everything. I mean, waste reduction, resource conservation. I think one also. Habiba covered that. Innovation with those cassette tape bags. I had a designer from Italy who had made bags out of old silicone computer keyboards. Do you know the computer keyboards, the silicone cover that you put on the keyboard? She had made little pouch bags out of it. Very, very pretty, very innovative. So I think the ladies covered it all. For me, from where Ethical Elements comes from, I think choosing the right fabric, designing it for longevity and repair, buying less, first of all. And then, so if you don't have a lot of waste, and if repurposing is difficult for people, buy less, choose well, make it last as long as you can. I think our grandparents did a lot of repurposing. I did a lot from my mother's old clothes, and made new items as and when the trends changed and the fashion changed. Saris became kurtas, and then what are those bell-bottom pants, and then the bell-bottom pants went, and then you just chop it off and you make them straight, and
Right. Yeah.
so many things. I used to take my dad's clothes, my dad's suits, and tailor them to fit as a female. And he had some really, really beautiful fabrics, wool. From those days, they used to make clothes to last then.
Yeah.
So they lasted, and this next generation, the generation after, could still use it in
Yeah.
very good condition. So I made use of that. But even now, personally, I try not to buy too many things. When you have kids, you end up buying things for them because they're growing up, they're spoiled. So I try as much as possible to. Thank God I have two boys, so the older ones' clothes go to the younger ones, so I don't waste. But still, I try to repurpose whatever we have at the house. I fix them. I bought these little patches because they always have holes in their pants. So I put these, different cartoon patches on their clothes and make it look a little bit more trendy or a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
And I have clothes that I've had since, I don't know if I spoke to you last, from the last conversation we've had in the last meeting. I've mentioned to you, I have clothes since 2000 actually. I still wear them. When I was doing my master's in CSR in the UK, I had bought a jacket off eBay, I think, and I still have it. I still wear it. Thank God for not putting on too much of baby fat. But but that's amazing that when I look at it, and now that I have the chance to wear it in winter in Istanbul because it really gets cold, otherwise I wouldn't have worn them in Dubai. But I look at them and I go, that is quality. The wool is, and of course I took care of how I packed it, but how I stored it. But they still are in great condition. Not a single thread is moved, no holes in it. I mean, in perfect shape, and I can use it for another few years. So for me, I think it's summing it all up. Choose well.
Yeah.
And as much as you can to repurpose it in whatever way possible. Otherwise, there is Thrift for Good. So you can reach out to them. And I think there's Thrift for Good, and there's another brand there in Dubai called Retold. But I'm not sure about how many more are there. But really, really congrats, Jennifer, on reaching where you are right now. But because changing the mindset of people in Middle East for repurposing, it is a big challenge.
With that, I actually was coming to the question of the challenge, that when you are into responsible fashion, what challenges have you faced or are you facing?
Well, for me, it's when we started Ethical Elements, the base of us starting it was material, the limitations on the access to sustainable fabrics. So then here comes Ethical Elements, providing you with that. At Ethical Elements, we also provide finished products. So if you are a designer who wants to create a collection of 10 pieces, we are also providing you the service of ethically producing it in UAE so that you don't have to go across town to create your collection. The other challenge I've heard people is cost. Why is sustainable fashion so expensive? Because it comes with a price. It comes with the actual living wages that you pay your laborers. It comes with the non-toxic chemicals used in producing organic cotton, for example. The demand is low at the moment because people still don't understand the concept. But as the demand grows, the supply will grow, and the prices will come down. So now you want 10 pieces to produce 10 pieces like what you're making in your collection. It's handloom. It's indigenous pieces. They cannot produce in mass. So that is one challenge that we're going through. perception of consumers for sure on sustainable fashion. How is it sustainable? Why fashion? How is fashion so polluting so much in the world, and people don't get it? They really have to be shown examples and figures and the documentaries to be able to understand what is happening, in the world. Awareness, lack of awareness. Like Habiba said, we need to do a lot of educating people and spreading awareness, and having webinars like these and putting them out live, and working with. I mean, Fashion Revolution is what I started with in UAE, and the lovely ladies that are carrying on this process. It's the reason I got into it was for awareness, because what was needed was awareness. That was lacking. People did not know what, and it was not their fault. They did not know. So when I started off, I was very bang on, like, no, this is how it's supposed to be done, and this is the right thing to do. And this was me saying it from my heart, but people didn't get it. So I had to retrack my steps and try to speak their language, because that's the audience. I had to speak to them, and I couldn't be speaking what I was thinking of. So I had to go through a lot of these processes, and Fashion Revolution has, people can still go online and see the resources. They have free resources. People can go on and download, watch videos, follow other sustainable individuals who are doing all this, and understand what one person can do to make a difference. And there's lots. And I think
power of when people come together and use a platform, I think it's incredible.
It is. Again, supply chain also was another challenge, because that's why we try and go, like we went to India, my partner went to China. We also needed to go there and find out what was going on. And yes, China is mass production. China has a lot of labor issues. But there are companies, there are production factories, particular ones, they are there, but not many people know about. And so you really have to go and do, research and to go and find out. There are people who produce ethically, and maybe there are small productions. A lot of people also, like you said, greenwashing. A lot of people also buy certificates and just, fake them on their websites. So we also do due diligence of checking that their certificates are actually genuine. We write to the authorities, like the GOTS associations and everyone else, the recycled polyester, recycled clothing association, everyone, to find out, is this real? Is this company actually has a certificate? Do you actually, because having a certificate is also a challenge, because you have to pay a lot for it, because it has to be audited, it has to be investigated, and you have to renew it every year. If you lose the credibility, then you lost whole lot of business. So we do look into that, but we also look into the indigenous, like you talked about, where there are small factories. Like we worked with a company in Bangalore in Karnataka who produced handloom furniture fabrics, which was from post-consumer waste and post-production waste. So they had used all of these post-production waste fabrics and created into a completely new fabric, repurposed it, and produced textile for housing. And I visited them, and they had about 50 handloom stations, all done by hand, individuals, sitting behind this huge room, happy-go-lucky people taking their breaks, clean place. The people were really happy there. I could manage to speak to some workers. We also did a whole video on how the workers are doing it. I mean, it was lovely to see that. But there comes the point of certifications for such kind of companies. The challenge that they're facing is, we can't really afford it, because we supply only so much. We can't really pay it. So there comes our trust as a brand. When we see this for ourselves and we see that this is happening, and we know, okay, they can't afford the certificate, fine. Just because of that, we can't ignore them and not give, we know what they're doing. We know how their story, and we trust them. So we will work with them. And this is the trust we ensure our customers get, is that trust ethical elements, that we are going to provide you with ethically sourced, sustainable fabrics. So this is the background that we do all the work for a client. so that they don't have to go, like a designer doesn't have to go to all these factories and find out for ourselves. So we will do everything for you. Just, the fabric is here, but of course that has a little bit of markup to cover our costs.
Yeah, like a lot of vendors, tell that it's pure linen and all of that, but doesn't have certification. So yeah, like it's a challenge, but when you love something, it's no more like a challenge and you make a way forward. And then people like you come into the picture who then does the work. So with that, I would like to have like a last question with the challenge with Jen about in Middle East, where it is all about glamour. Do you face challenges about talking, like, people having a stigma of secondhand or like with the thrift? How has been your journey with that?
It's a very good question, especially in this region where there is a stigma around pre-loved clothing. But for me, I know it's about reframing it. If you come to our stores, we only showcase perfect quality items. We make sure they're clean. We do our best to make sure that they're perfect, unless we miss something. But 99% of the time, it's perfect clothing. We steam, we sanitize, we make it competitive with the market. So when people come in and they look at it, they don't feel like they're compromising by buying it. So that's the way that we address it. And it's education, because once people know like the clothing is just as good as new, it's a fraction of the price, it's better for the environment, it helps kids. There's so many wins. There's so much added value to buying secondhand versus firsthand that you don't get. So we are converting people to loving thrift, to being addicted to thrifting as their first choice, which is very exciting. And I just wanted to comment on the challenges. Great answer, Aisha. That was nice. And just adding to it, I think part of it, it's the mass consumption. So for us, we do our best to recycle all of the end-of-life materials, but the amount of quantities that are coming, there isn't local infrastructure. We're opening a sustainability hub in a few weeks to be able to do workshops where we locally recycle much more of it, where we can make bags, we can make baskets, we can do t-shirt yarn, we can do all sorts of creative things. But the massive amount of quantities, and we're also working with local upcyclers to be able to pass on these items. But it's just the quantities are so much that we do have to offload to international recycling companies. And we trust them, they're our partners, but there's still always not 100% transparency in that process. And the carbon emissions, again, from exporting, recycling, and you do hear these horror stories of so much garbage, waste clothing ending up in landfills all around Africa, all around South America. So it's just, we are working towards creating local infrastructure, but that is a challenge in itself. It's, we went in saying we're going to open a thrift store, and then this whole back end of what we really need to do opened up, and it's big. It's going to be a big push from so many partners together to create a local system here.
Yeah. And like I was just looking at the figures that in every second there is one truck which goes at landfill in some part of the world, which is such a big thing. And today, in fact, last 1 week, I was talking with my team and on the soil day, and we are using 100% of recycled fabric. Today, we are even taking a pledge, and here we are announcing about that. Anybody in Dubai who wants to give their like even the clothes which they are not wearing, we are going to create something beautiful with that as well. So we will send you the details, look at our community or the Conscious Collective Instagram, and we will send the details. So together we would be creating the earth, which is more better. So like, this pledge on the soil day, where we are creating more sustainable planet, and when we all collaborate together would be such a great impact. So
good luck, Kashish. That's great. That's great. Get ready for all the back end storage. It's going to send you a lot.
Yeah. It is such like this conversation can keep going, but with that, I would like to even ask questions from the audience. Rumit, any questions, please?
Yes. And firstly, thank you so much. It has been very insightful. I was just sitting back and listening, also imagining at the same time, from indigenous to all the certification, everything. I think this is one of the knowledgeable sessions that I've attended. More into the fashion. Also, I am sure it has helped some of the people who may be looking to start up their own sustainable fashion brand as well. So we have few questions already that people submitted, and one amazing question. Maybe we'll also move to Arif Ahmed, who has asked in the chat, but maybe let's take this one first. This is from Anthony. The person is asking, is there a way or have you seen repurposing of old leather from vehicle seats and other places into jackets, suits, and other types? And if you haven't, is it possible? That's the first question. Anybody can answer, yeah.
Anybody? I would say I have seen a brand which uses tires to make jewelry. So something
Wow.
which is the old tires of your vehicle. So anything and everything can definitely be repurposed. It just requires little research, knowledge, and then it's not about figuring out the entire thing, but like jumping into it. Like I'm sure Jen would have not looked into so much of it sitting outside. And now when she's running a thrift store, there is so much include. And once you start learning, there is so much to again unlearn and learn basically. So yes, Anthony, who was asking the question, can it be recycled? Yes, but definitely you need to educate yourself for it, I would say.
Yeah. And I think
Absolutely.
somebody in the chat box has mentioned Aris Seli, if I'm pronouncing the name
Yes,
right. She has heard
absolutely.
about recycled leather. Wow, that's great. That's
Yeah,
good to know.
there's a lot of lab-grown leather also. There's a lot of vegan leather that has come out of Chile, who owns a platform called GoShopia. You could go online on goshopia.com and find out all these brands that produce apple leather, cactus leather, and products made out of them, and they're beautiful products. So definitely the tires, the leather from the cars can be repurposed. If not for jackets, for other home accessories, that would be the best, I would suggest, because I think it is made for the fabric, the structure of it is made for furnitures. So definitely can be used for, lampshades and seats and stools, and all of these can be, it can be repurposed into all of these things. So
Yeah.
definitely, yes.
Even like diaries, your leather
Yes.
diaries
Yeah.
can be a
Yes.
great thing.
Diary covers. You could make replacing. I bought this. I remember in a vintage market. I picked up old. They used to make covers, and the paper was recycled. So they had these booklets that you could insert into different covers, and you could buy extra booklets as and when you finish it, and it used to just
Yeah.
tie up the
Oh
old.
yeah.
Yeah, these are old covers made out of waste. A factory that was making leather bags. So all the waste that was created, they made covers out of it, and it was just clean, just simple. Nothing extra work was done on it. They were just cut into rectangles and inserted 2 holes and put the paper in it. It was so simple.
Actually, I think I've got one like this. So you can remove all the papers out of this. So I was
Yeah,
just
it was very
thinking like,
beautiful.
I have something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, even like so much to do with the electronic gadgets covers, which is
Yeah.
all time use. So much can be done. So just jump in.
Yeah. And I think Jennifer has already answered, so kind of you, Jennifer, questions that were in a Q&A box. And so there's one more question that was previously submitted. The person is, I'm going to combine 2 questions. It is from Bhavna Chauhan and Haripriya. They are asking that, especially in India, how can how can this concept of sustainable fashion can be delivered to economical struggling community? And also, while people are growing up, they always differentiate the fashion brand by integrating sustainable practices. Well, how can they differentiate, ensuring it remains stylish, affordable, and appealing to a broader audience?
I think there is a huge wrong myth that sustainable means go and buy a sustainable garment, where the entire myth of, again, it comes that it's expensive and all of that. Sustainability, like what Jen is also doing, thrift for good. There are a lot of brands which is about, you don't have to go to the big community. You can start amongst your friends as well, that you can swap clothes or you can exchange it. Or, if you bought something, you can just today's generation is so creative that you can cut it, mix match it, change it, add color to it. There is so much creative ways you can add. Like one black t-shirt can be worn in 10,000 different ways if you desire.
Yeah.
It's also the styling, exactly. I mean, everything sustainable is already in your wardrobe right now. So
Yeah.
you don't have to buy anything new. And if you do want to, then you go to thrift stores. And even then, if you can't find something that is suitable, then look for sustainable brands. And if you can't find something that is affordable, then buy something that you can is affordable and repurpose it with whatever you have. So many steps to it, but don't just buy because it's $5 and then next week go and buy another one because, oh, it's just $5. It's not $5. It's someone's sweat and blood. The person at the back end is getting peanuts for that t-shirt. If they had to make it to $5, then imagine how much the person is getting it. So think
Yeah.
about it. Be mindful when shopping.
I'd like to add what you're saying about $5. There's this saying that says cheap is expensive. So this goes as well on fast fashion. Cheap is expensive in the sense that it's costing in literal sense, it's costing our earth. By that, we mean that whatever you buy at a cheap price that is fast fashion, is made from toxic chemical materials, and it's cheap quality. Even if it's cheap and it's trendy, it's fashionable, it looks good to the eye, but in real sense, it's not good for the environment. Also for you that you're wearing it, because also it can cause skin cancer or any other, skin toxic diseases or problems, or you never know what it is. And also it's not sustainable for you because you will not feel like you're wearing a quality outfit. You always know when you're wearing a quality outfit, but when you wear something that is cheap, you will feel like I need to always change it because you don't value it yourself. So you'll end up not valuing it. And that means that it's in a long term becomes expensive because you will end up buying a lot of clothes that you do not need, right?
Yeah.
At an expensive price, as opposed if you look at it this way, if you buy one outfit for, let's say, 500 or no, for let's say $50, and you bought 10 items for $5 and you still don't wear them.
Yeah,
it's still expensive in that way, and it's adding up to your closet. But that $50 outfit that you wear it and you can have it for a long time is something that is good quality, and also your money is still in check. So that's how you look at it. And I would say that's the perspective you go with it, to look at how your purchases as a person, you choose what you want to purchase on, and look at it as an investment. If you're investing in low quality clothes that do not have values, do not respect women, do not respect the people and the planet, you're also investing in that. So you look at it from shift your mindset towards investing in the people, the planet, human rights, animal rights, than just buying aimlessly.
Yeah,
that's very true and very nicely you've put it. And I'm still in my head, it's a new thing now. What Aisha said, that whatever sustainable, it's already in your wardrobe. That's a very good way to put it. And what Kashish also said, it's a myth that we need to buy more new items which are sustainable, but we cannot discard what we already have. And it's again in every webinar that we have done and every session that we do, we always hear this term that fashion is about styling, not buying new clothes every day. And I also remember that, I'm not sure if you have seen that Steve Harvey, it's a person, and he once in some show said that if you have these colors, you can make, like, with 5 combos, you can make 45 other combinations. So I think it's all about how you perceive it and how you can style it. And other questions were there, but during the conversation, it has been answered. So I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, Aisha, Habiba, Jennifer, and Kashish as well for bringing these people out. It truly has been a wonderful session, very knowledgeable, very eye-opener for many, I'm sure. And I'm sure if we will have any other questions, we can direct it to you. We have your details now.
Yes,
So
please.
we can bother you on email if we have questions from our participants who watch this later on. And with
Yeah.
that, we complete the first 3-episode series, the network and Kashish Global. And somebody just posted dream panel. It is, I mean, I'm sure
Thank
if these
you.
4 people are in one place, a lot of things can happen. So that's
Thank you,
that's
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit.
Yes.
This,
Rumit, sorry.
somebody is
Yes.
asking attendance link. I think this webinar would be available on YouTube, and we will,
Yes.
you can go and watch on the YouTube and watch
Yeah.
it as many as time. And like one thing I would like to end with, normally when it comes to sustainable fashion, even without checking out which brands are available, it directly comes. I think most of the questions is affordability and the cheap, which is
Yeah.
not the thing. Please go out in the market, do your research, educate yourself. And it's not about cheap, it's about somebody's paying the price for it. If not
Yes.
you, somebody else. And if not somebody else, the earth is definitely paying your price. So kindly educate yourself and bring in that awareness. Sustainability is not expensive.
Yes.
Yes,
And
it's a long-term
lastly,
investment. Yes.
because we have an opportunity for attendees who are watching this, participants, because I see so many people are coming up with amazing ideas about leather. These questions are interesting. So Earth Day is outreaching for a Earth Care Awards, which is right now for Indian national only, but anybody who is in college and have an idea which can change the fashion industry or sustainable fashion, we would encourage you to apply. You can go to the website, check it out, and we would also share links with you for everything. So thank you so much, everyone, all the panelists, all the
Thank you,
participants.
guys.
Thank you,
Uh,
Thank you
everybody.
too. Thank you
Have
too
a
for
little-
having us.
have a great
and you're
evening.
doing an amazing job.